So you're thinking of buying a house either for yourself or as an investment property, and you might be wondering, with everything happening in the economy and even this time of year, Kris, when should I actually buy real estate? In today's video, we're gonna talk about the seasons of when you wanna hone in on buying real estate, and then we're gonna talk about the big season of what's happening economically, and should you still be holding out and waiting to buy real estate, or what's really going down in 2024? You know, they say hindsight is always 2020. And I want you to think about that. It's like, well, once time has passed and I can look back, it's a little bit like Biff with the almanac and Back to the Future 2, and basically saying, now I know what I should have done. When you look at the last 2 decades, it's like, when should you have gotten into real estate? First of all, let's take a look at the Great Recession of 2008. Understand that real estate prices had not dropped that dramatically since 1979. And back then, as the market was crashing, people were thinking real estate is an awful investment. After all, people had bought too much homes were going back to the bank, people were panicking, their mortgages were too high, there was a flood of foreclosures in the market. Most people would have thought 2009 would have been an awful time to buy real estate, but that's when I went in for the first time out of state and started buying thousands of properties. We saw the median home price back then creep up over $300,000, and now homes were going back to the bank and the market was flooded with too much real estate, and we saw that national median price drop as low as $180,000. I went into markets like Phoenix and Vegas where they had overbuilt these homes that were now skyrocketing at $350,000 and $400,000, and I was now buying them up for $150,000, $130,000, sometimes under $100,000. And you know what? If it cost $250,000 to build a home that was selling for $350,000, you know that it shouldn't correct below what it cost to build that $250,000. So when I started buying homes for $100,000 or more for less than they cost to build, it was just a matter of time before supply and demand caught up with each other, and that exact same home that I was buying at a huge discount would be sold for a really big price just a few years later. And you know, that's exactly what happened. By 2014, most of the homes that I had bought, you could have listed those on the market for $250,000, $300,000, $350,000 and pocketed 6 figures on each one of them. So right after the Great Recession would have been an amazing time to get into the game of real estate. In the last decade, the next best time for you to get into real estate, it was during the pandemic. 2020 was an excellent year to get in the game of real estate. People wondered what's going to happen with all these mask mandates and all these people that are basically needing to work from home. Somehow that's going to hurt the economy and hence the real estate market. But rarely do they go hand in hand. When you actually look at major downfalls of the stock market, and out of 3 out of 5 declines, you'll actually see that the real estate market will corroborate with the stock market. In other words, for every 5 times that the stock market drops, the real estate market only drops twice. And you know what? 2020 was one of those times when people assumed that real estate was going to be hurt, but it was the opposite. With everyone now working from home, the demand for real estate surged, and we never really caught up with our lack of inventory since 2008. And so what happened to the price of real estate? Well, since people wanted to move and they wanted bigger homes or they wanted a nicer home office, it created all this pent up more demand on the real estate market and prices surged again. So 2020 would have been a dope time to get in the game because back then the national median was sitting around $250,000, $280,000, and within 2 years, it topped over $350,000. The median today is closer to $430,000. Now you might be asking, okay, Kris, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know when the next best time is going to be, but kind of curious from the guy that's done over $2 billion in real estate transactions on thousands of homes, Kris, when do you actually think the next best time to buy real estate might be? Check it out. Let's talk 2024. We had an entire year of record high interest rates that we haven't seen for over 2 decades, and as a result, the market slowed down. Now, with such high interest rates, you might think there's so few homes actually being transacted right now, that's gotta lower the price of real estate. But what actually happened in 2023? Well, we saw that the median started out just over $406,000 and ended over $430,000. In other words, the market went up even more than its average 65-year average of 4.58%. And if you take a look at the last 9 straight weeks on the 30-year mortgage, we've seen it drop from 8%. Right now, it's sitting right around 6.61%. So those are very significant rate drops. And in 2024, there's talk on the town of 6 more scheduled rate drops. And that means that throughout the year, rates could literally drop into the 5% range, even potentially the 4% range. And what that means is that mortgages are going to get a lot less expensive. There's going to be a lot more refinances. But imagine for a moment what that's going to do when we're missing 6 million homes in this country. It's going to skyrocket the price of real estate. In fact, you might see that $430,000 median by the end of 2024 be over $500,000. I think it's going to do that easy. I think it's going to be higher than that. And since rates are going to drop, payments are going to be roughly the same. They might even net be a little bit less, even though a house might cost you $100,000 more than today. So one of the questions you really have to be asking yourself is, if I've been wanting to get into real estate, what's the difference between buying right now versus 2025? About $100,000. And you have to ask yourself, do I want to pay $100,000 more a year from now? Or do I want to get that real estate today and then just refinance into those lower interest rates? Well, the sooner you buy real estate, the better off you're going to be, which is why I'm doing an all-out, full-scale attack on buying as much real estate as I possibly can. In fact, very soon I have my first public fund coming out where people anywhere all over the world will be able to invest with me and make sure they're taking advantage of 2024. By the way, if you're like, Kris, I would like to be a real estate investor, I'd like to get in the game, but that sounds like a job. It sounds like a part-time job, maybe more. It sounds like I'm going to have to find deals and work with banks and get financing. It sounds like I'm going to have some money to make money. How do I get in the game of real estate if I don't got that stuff going on? Well, you'd click the link below and I'm going to show you for free how to get in the game of real estate. Whether you do have money, whether you don't have money, it doesn't matter. In fact, I can even show you how to make it fully turnkey where you can partner with me and I'll do 100% of the work and we'll just split the profits. If you like that, take a moment, click the link below right now, just fill out your information and let me get you started with the free game plan on how we can crush it together. Now, it's one thing to look at 2024, but let's also take a look at what happens historically in winter versus summer. You may have heard that real estate prices decline in winter, and the truth is, in the last decade, 8 out of the last 10 years, guess what? Winter has always had some type of price drop, and right now, guess what we're in? We're in winter, and it's a great time to be buying real estate. December represents one of the best bargains with a premium of a 3.4% average drop, and then that's followed by November and January, both that are sitting at a 3.9% drop. By comparison, buyers who closed in May typically paid an 11.5% premium. In general, there are fewer buyers that are looking that can drop the price, but things are looking different right now. Let's take a look at some historical data ranging from June of 2021 all the way through June of 2022. Over that 12-month period of time, take a look at what happened at the bottom of the graph in June 2021 when the median home price was $366,000. Now, by the way, that was up substantially from $294,000 in 2020, just a year before. Now, if you start taking a look at October, November, and December, we're seeing that price is actually dropping to $355,000 at a low. In January, $354,000. But by the time we get all the way back to June of 2022, we're sitting at $416,000, again, which is up $50-ish thousand since June of 2021. Generally, prices are at the lowest at the very start of the year. They climb through the summer months, and then they start falling gently into autumn, and then basically beginning the cycle all over again. Home prices peaked in June or July. This graph does a really great job showing you what happened in 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 2023. What you can see between January, February, March, April, May, and June is that the market hikes. But the second half of the year, it'll literally hold or it will go down a little bit. There's a couple of exceptions where 2022 had a pretty big drop, and that had to do with interest rates hiking. But the bottom line is real estate keeps going up. Over the last 65-year average, when we remove 2008, when we remove the pandemic, we see that real estate increases around 5% year over year on a nationwide basis. Now, when I invest in real estate, I don't experience 5% appreciation. Do you know why? Because there's 324 markets that make up the United States. And I've learned over the years that if you subject yourself to investing in your backyard, you'll only find a certain number of good deals. But if you take a look at the 324 markets that make up the United States and only invest in the top 5 markets, then you can achieve ROIs significantly higher. And frankly, that is my secret sauce. That's what I've been doing for the last 2 decades. And if you've been wanting to get in real estate, whether you do have money or whether you don't have money, listen, if you have hidden assets in like a 401k or an IRA or equity in a home, I can show you how to put that into real estate. But even if you don't have anything, click the link below. Let me show you how to get started investing in real estate Why? Because it's going to keep going up, and real estate will do more for your future, it will do more for your retirement than even retirement itself. In other words, real estate outperforms 401ks, IRAs, not by a little, by a lot. Set yourself up with a juicy financial future. After all, I was financially free at the age of 26, which means that I've been living a really great financial life almost for the last 2 decades. And if you want to know how to get on that bandwagon, click the link below, offer up your information. Let me show you how to get started in real estate one way or the other right now. I will give you this prediction. The people that buy a home in the next couple of months of 2024, we're gonna say those lucky bastards, they won like the people of 2020 before the pandemic. They won like the people of 2009 after the Great Recession. The question is, are you going to be the next winner? You know, Wall Street Journal actually confirmed that normally when you see a slowdown of buyers in the market, you're gonna see a drop in price. But because of our huge inventory issues, we are seeing the opposite. And right now, what you need to understand is whether rates are high or whether they're low, because we're missing so many millions of homes, it's gonna keep driving the price of real estate up. This is probably the easiest time in your lifetime to make millions of dollars in real estate if you can just find a way to get into the market. And if you don't know how, I can help you with that. So when is the best time to invest in real estate? As soon as you possibly can, as in right now. If there's a way to do it right now, you'll kick yourself if you don't do it today. You know, Kris, I don't have money in a 401k or an IRA, but I think I have some equity in my house. I bought it, my house went up. How do I get that money out? Well, the answer is called a refinance, and there are several different kinds. And if you want to know the best and the smartest way of getting your money out of your home, click right here, watch this video.